Hi, I'm Phil. I'm an artist and illustrator working out of the Rivoli Arts Building up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And for the past few years in my spare time, I've been working on developing a board game. And I wasn't going to let myself start the artwork on it until the board game was good and fun to play. And I'm at that point now, and it's actually time to start sharing it with the world. So this and the series of videos that are coming up are going to get into the details about it a little bit. This one is more on the background, just to let you know what I'm doing, where I'm at, why I'm doing it. Background on me and the project, like this is a completely solo project. I am the game designer and I'm doing the illustrations, design, and layouts for everything. But my primary trade is illustration, and that means I do a little bit of everything as an artist: landscapes, portraiture, concept design, and all of that is included. It goes into a big bucket of my skill set. And for my life, I've always been an artist and I've always been a gamer. And about 12 years ago, I fell into the board game hobby with a group of friends down in Kansas City, and it was something that we looked forward to doing every couple of weeks, getting together when we could. Board games stuck out to me, and the reason that I latched onto them like I did is because it's one of the only things that I've discovered as an adult that comes close to the feeling that I remember having as a child of sitting on the couch with my brother Saturday morning, playing through Metroid and Zelda and Super Mario Brothers, and just like that's a really core formative experience for me. And with my board game, if I can get 10% of the way there with reproducing that feeling and helping other people have that, that's a win. So for me, that's what this board game is about. So this project is the culmination of several of my hobbies and expertises for me coming together into one project. And my goal at the end is to deliver a AAA quality product to my fellow board game community that they will look forward to having on their table for long into the future. High quality, high replay value, and this video and everything leading up to the crowdfunding campaign will also serve as a journal of what goes into that creative process, and so that people who don't work in the creative field will have something to look at and help to understand this is how things get made. For this next part of the video, I'm going to put up on screen a preview of what's coming up on the GameFound campaign screen for the description of the game, and I'm just going to read what comes next because I feel it's really important for the why and how of what's coming. As a solo developer of a project of this scale, I understand that I have a trust deficit to overcome. That is why I'm keeping an active log of my activities on my Patreon page, available to free subscribers as well as paid. Paid subscribers there will fund pre-production up until the GameFound campaign, and as a thank you, will receive a discount coupon good for the purchase of art prints for this game and my other artwork from the web store hosted by my arts building. Ongoing supporters will receive a discount code each calendar year that they have an active subscription, regardless of the length they subscribe for. With that said, when this campaign begins, the artwork and playtesting will have been completed. The risk of this game not being completed for a GameFound backer is as near to zero as I can make it. So the next thing I want to touch on is the design principles and how I got to where I am with this game. And then we'll jump into what exactly the game is, because I want to keep this video short and to the point about what's going on and what this game is. So moving on. Design principles. I designed Apex from the ground up to meet very specific criteria for accessibility. I like crunchy mechanics and extended play sessions as much as the next person, but busy adult schedules frequently get in the way of that. My primary goal was this: design a board game with sufficient mechanical depth and replayability to keep me coming back with a reliable playtime in the range of a standard action movie. Aside from that, I created Apex in much the same manner as the rest of my artwork. I started with an idea and explored the avenues that idea presented to me. The result is a game in which the theme, art, and rule set are thoroughly intertwined. No part of the game could be removed without negatively impacting the experience, and nothing more could be added without introducing bloat and unnecessary complexity. So I think that's pretty straightforward. It's hard to find 8 hours to roll dice with your friends on the weekend when you've got kids and sports and all of the activities and all of the stuff that goes along with that. Work obligations, friends, and trying to squeeze vacations and stuff. I'm just touching my face. Trying to squeeze all of those other fun things in there too. 1.5 to 2 hours, I think, is a really good middle ground for having a quick game. And it was like, that's the secret sauce for me for getting this game to work with these mechanics. And it was like this perfect happy middle ground for engagement, depth, and being able to get the game on the table and have that experience quickly without sacrificing the depth that I want to be able to access in that time frame. And just going to continue reading here. The primary cause of conflict in Apex is that humanity has discovered an artifact that would allow them to recreate and manipulate a kaiju. The remaining players control kaiju, which were sent to Earth to prevent that from happening. Apex at its core is a game about choices, many small things adding up to one final product. And that is true for me from a design perspective, and it's true for the players of the game as well. At the beginning of the game, each kaiju begins in a size and state in which it would roughly fit in with nature. Through the course of the game, each kaiju grows and mutates, and I'll just read this. Through the course of the game, each kaiju will spend its pool of action points to move about the hex board, harvest resources, collect DNA, pillage cities, and attack other kaiju should the need arise. At the outset, each kaiju receives a secret objective card with a single instruction: either steal the artifact or destroy the artifact. If there are three or more kaiju players, an additional card is added to the secret objective deck with the objective assist humanity. So if you play Dead of Winter, you know what that card does. Humanity's goal is to complete research into the artifact and produce their own kaiju with mutations of their choosing. At the beginning of the game, humanity selects from a handful of ape species upon which to conduct their research. The ape which is finally able to make it through testing and receive the DNA mutations and abilities is Specimen X. So it's ape:X. That's the name of the game. Apex is a zero-sum game. There can only ever be one winner. If you have the same secret objective as another player, and that other player completes the objective and you don't, they won and you didn't. What is this thing doing? Anyhow, I think it's working. I'm not a videographer guy. We have people in the building who are really good at that stuff. And the videos that I have coming up where we get into the mechanics and do a gameplay playthrough, those are going to be professionally produced by the guys across the hall that really know what they're doing. I'm not a content creator. I just make pictures. And for right now, this is what we're going to have until those next set of videos come live. But right now, this is just basically treated like a video blog. And it's me talking about what's going on. So kind of low production quality because this is what I do. But yeah, that's what we got to work with. So key resources. Humanity uses plutonium to fuel their tech tree research. Kaiju consume plutonium to unlock their next stage of evolution, which is tied to the additional next growth chains and mutations that they can acquire later on too. So they have to have the plutonium, which is only found in human cities, in order to do the growth and evolution and become the skyscraping monsters that we see in the movies. One of the key mechanics is the evasion die. Each time that humanity detects a kaiju near one of its cities, an intel token is generated, which humanity can exchange for resources or research tokens. Resources are spent to reinforce cities or to expand surveillance and defense capabilities. Research tokens go directly to funding humanity's research into their Apex project. So the kaiju have to attack the cities to get the plutonium. Every time that humanity sees the kaiju, they receive resources that they can use to reinforce themselves and expedite their research. So the more aggressive the kaiju are, the faster the game goes. Truly aggressive kaiju can end up ultimately assisting humanity in reaching their goal. So there's a balance there with how much they can do within like how aggressive they can be without tilting the scales away from their own win probability. Based on what I've seen from other games in the market, you've probably seen some things from Apex that are not present in other games. There's a level of asymmetry here that is hard to find. One, it's hard to balance for. And it's it's the main reason that this is going to be a crowdfunding thing and not me taking it to someplace like Fantasy Flight Games or like Cool Mini or not, and trying to have one of the bigger publishers tackle it for me. Because of the asymmetry that's present and the difficulty in balancing it, I don't think that this game gets past the design phase and gets through committee. I think that there's a level of risk there that their investors would not be okay with. And to me, like, this is exactly what Kickstarter and GameFound are for. These niche projects that wouldn't otherwise see the light of day. This one, like, once I get into it, it's not actually all that crazy. I'm just trusting my audience, the board gamers. Like, this is a board game for board gamers, and I know that. It's designed that way from the start. I'm trusting my audience to understand what's going on, pick it up and play with it, and be motivated enough to play the game repeatedly because of what I've provided. Like, you have to trust your audience to follow along and keep up. Some movies have somebody who's tagging along with the main character and just explaining stuff to them the whole time. Like Chewie and Han Solo. Like, Han was constantly explaining things to Chewie so that the audience could keep up. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm trusting my audience to create their own narrative and understand the gameplay mechanics and rules that I've provided in order to use this game, which could thoroughly function as a script generator for a Hollywood summer kaiju movie. So I've mentioned the level of asymmetry a few times now, and that's the main thing that I think makes Apex unique. Just going to read this part here as well. What sets Apex apart is that humanity and the kaiju players it's almost like they're playing separate games. They each have separate game systems, which I will explain here. Humanity receives a number of resource tokens and a single research token at regular 2-minute intervals. Every 2 minutes, they get their supplies. The number of resource tokens that humanity receives at each interval increases as the game progresses. It starts at 1, goes up to 4, it can be increased further than that with elements in the tech tree. So pause there for a moment, though, because the kaiju do not have a timer. The kaiju players have an action phase during which they spend their action points, 1 to 2 at a time, per player in a normal clockwise order around the table. They proceed this way until humanity's timer reaches 0. When the timer reaches 0, humanity, they don't interrupt the current player. They get the next spot in line. They jump the queue. So the current active kaiju player finishes their turn, and then humanity spends their resources. And then the next kaiju player goes, and the timer starts over. So the playtime thing that I talked about at the very beginning of the video, wanting to fit into that 90 to 120 minute typical action movie time frame, this is how that's enforced. That 2-minute timer turns this game into a 90 to 120 minute phase. There's a predefined number of research points that humanity has to acquire to complete their Apex project. That, combined with the timer, means that there's a time limit of the game. It can't go past 120 minutes unless people are really, really screwing around and allowing like long pause actions to take place because people are getting up to go to the bathroom, make pizza, or do that kind of stuff. Kind of things that happen during typical board game night. So if you go longer than that, that's on you. Sorry, I'm getting notifications on Threads. I try to stay active on there, engaging with people about artwork and art processes, trying to help people improve as artists, because like this is a special thing that we get to do. Not everybody gets to, and like the ability to sit and make art, draw pictures, and make paintings. Like that's a pretty special way to be able to spend your day. So back to it.